Drivers, start your engine!
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
One last chance down the back straightaway into corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. Looking to drag right back to the start finish line, but no one will catch him as the 77 of Dalton Wicker will pick up the checkered flag.
This is the Hypershift Racing League on Peacemaker Gaming.
Rubber burning engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafting on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a down, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a down, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time
Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to set these drivers loose for what will be another amazing night of racing action here at the beautiful Lone Star State. It's Texas Motor Speedway here this evening for the Hypershift Racing League, as each and every one of these drivers, man, putting together an absolutely amazing race, another immaculate race here in the Hypershift IMB Racewear NASCAR Series, as the Sit Down Marks podcast 213 here this evening is about to get started, as drivers getting their final laps in there, getting their final runs in here for their qualifying session, and that means we will get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go here as our main feature event is about to get ready to rumble. They're about to get ready to rock and roll out there on the speedway, and starting in that pole position in the number 99 ride, it's Tyler Chronister, man. Chronister had a great run last week. We saw both the Chronister brothers up inside the top 5, and now here is Tyler Chronister coming out to Texas Motor Speedway here, that Lone Star State, and he's going to put himself into the pole position here this evening. Great starting spot there for that beautiful Walmart number 99 ride, as he'll start in the pole to his outside in the 11 ride, our second place finisher from last week in the G-Shock number 11 machine. That is John Osborne, who will start there in position number 2. Starting back in the third spot in the 94 ride, that is the Boughton Enterprises LLC number 94 ride of Mr. Adam Boughton, there in third, and to his outside in the number 24, that is Jack Simpson. Simpson in the Braille Art number 24 ride, starting there in that fourth position. And rounding out our top 5 in the 88 machine, it is Trevor Massetti, who will start in that 5th position. To his outside in the Denise Designs number 40, it's Doug Denise, who will start there in 6th. Starting back in 7th in the AC Delco number 3 ride, that is Brandon Warlick. Warlick will start in 7th. To his outside in the United States Postal Service number 34, it's Drew King, who will start in 8th. And starting in 9th, it's another King. It's Brian King, starting there in the 9th position. To his outside and rounding out our top 10 here in that 5th row, it is the number 18 of Michael Carter, who will round out the top 10 here this evening. Then we see last week's winner, one of the hottest drivers here in the series over the last 3 races, Dwayne Furtick, has won 2 races, came home second in another one. He's been on an absolute roll here after missing our Daytona race, the Tom Stacey Taters Daytona 500. Unfortunately, he missed that race, didn't get a chance to run in it, and since then it's just been absolutely on fire. Hasn't finished outside the top 2. So for the 51 ride, gonna look to try to keep that trend rolling here this evening. As to his outside, I believe we will see the 7 ride, that is Corey Dink. Then we do see Jaden Newson, Kent Mueller, Corey Yoakum out there. Corey Yoakum in the 5 ride. Okay, so Corey's another new driver out there, so great to see Corey out there on the speedway, man, as the 5 machine going to look to try to battle his way up towards the front of the field here. And then we do see Dalton Wicker, Anthony Ludi, Dylan Huso, Matt Sisler back there deep in the field, Jonathan Cofield, Matt Walters, Gage Wenzel back at about the 21st position here for the start of this race. And then we do see Connor Fuge, his teammate, to the outside of him. Then Tommy Pulte, Michael Sheffield, Mason Tucker, Jeff Carson, Gavin Grubbs in that beautiful B-Main podcast number 12 ride, and Daniel Wicker, unfortunately, bringing up the rear of the field here. And Wicker, unfortunately, hey, he may have disappeared off the racetrack. He may not have been able to get out there in time, but nonetheless, we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing
here at the beautiful Texas Motor Speedway as the Sit Down Marks Podcast 213 is underway here in the Hypershift IMB Racewear NASCAR Series. As Tyler Chronister, our pole sitter, able to lead and hold these guys off for the first lap of this race. He'll move the 99 ride out in front, and he's looking to stay there for as long as he can, as he got a little wide there out of corner number 2. Luckily enough, able to hold on to it. Did not get up into that outside fence as the 24 of Jack Simpson making a couple early passes here. Simpson working his way around John Osborne and that number 94 of Adam Boughton. He's quickly to the back bumper here of our race leader, and last time around he was the quickest driver out there on the racetrack. So for Jack Simpson, maybe showing a little bit of muscle here, maybe not quite the best run that he was looking for out of the qualifying session. Even though he qualified in 4th, maybe this car's got a lot more speed in it. Maybe there was still more up the grabs, as he's already on the back bumper here of Chronister and looking to make the move, and down and out of 4. He will take his chance and he will make it count as the 24 of Jack Simpson. Now our race leader here leads lap number 3, as we do see one driver down pit road here serving a black flag and has some pretty solid left front damage here. It is the 10 ride of Matt Walters. Oh man, heartbreaker here for Matt, as Walters gonna head down pit side. He's gonna get that Fireballs GC number 10 ride fixed up, trying to get it back into one piece. The crew's gonna go to work, but it may be an early day at the Speedway here for that 10 ride. There's a lot of heavy left front damage that could unfortunately affect his ride and potentially, you know, keep him out of this race for a very, very long time out there on the Speedway. Jack Simpson, Tyler Chronister, though, 1 and 2 continue to lead the way as Osborne and Adam Boughton run 3rd and 4th on the racetrack. Right behind them, that is our 5th place driver on the starting grid, still rolling there in 5th in that beautiful number 88 ride. That is Trevor Massetti. Then we do see Brandon Warlick, Doug Denise, Kent Mueller. Mueller is the only driver that started outside the top 10 that has worked his way into the top 10. And for Mueller, up 3 positions here early on, sits there in that 8th position as we see Drew King back in 9th. And here comes that number 51 of Dwayne Furtick. We knew Furtick was going to be, he's going to have some speed of this ride, man. That Gemini Dell number 51, man, he has been good the last few races. He has been dang near untouchable. The only driver that's beaten him in the last 3 races was his teammate in the 11 rider, John Osborne. And Osborne, he is, you know, he came second place to him twice, but the 51 ride came second place to Osborne there 2 weeks ago. So we'll have to wait and see who's going to get the upper hand here again. Does it go back to John Osborne? Does he put himself back into the winner's circle there for Osborne? So we'll have to see if Osborne can get it done, or if he'll just settle in for a second place run again in behind his teammate. If Furtick can find his way right back out in front and back into victory lane. It's going to be a whole lot tougher though for the 51 right, starting a little deeper in that traffic, but man, he is making it work early on here. Only 8 laps into this race, and he's up 5 positions now and sitting in that 8th position. So slowly but surely, he's chewing them up and he's spitting them out and working his way now inside the top 10. Look out! Hang on to it! Oh! Trevor Massetti! Oh! Is he gonna hang on to it? He does! Oh, brother, that was close. And now look out, the 34 ride of Drew King bounced it off the outside fence as there were 3 wide down and out of corner number 2 right there. But that was a very, very close call to our first caution flag of the day. Trevor Massetti, last time down through corner number 1, contact there between him and I believe it was the 40 of Doug Denise. Had this 88 ride completely sideways. He saw all the drivers checking up, trying to figure out a way to get around them, and one driver that took full advantage of it was that 51 of Dwayne Furtick. He'll say, thank you very much. Moves right on around, makes a couple more passes, and now has himself sitting in that 6th position and trying to work his way towards our top 5 out on the racetrack is Brandon Warlick. Sits in that 5th position. Bit of a gap there as Dwayne did have to roll the throttle, did have to check up a little bit. Definitely not a bad idea. You don't want to get early damage, take yourself out of the race early on and not give yourself a chance at a good run out there on the speedway. So everyone doing a fantastic job there, keeping their cars clean, keeping themselves out of trouble. Even as that 88 ride was sideways, drivers checking up where they needed to be. No one else kind of got collected in it, and luckily enough, we keep it clean and green out there on the speedway. Unfortunately, though, for Trevor Massetti, does fall all the way back now into about the 13th position on the racetrack, and for the 88 ride, we'll have to wait and see if he can find that extra bit of speed. But right in front of him, another hard charger out there on the speedway. It's the 77 ride, the Tiny Toes machine of Dalton Wicker. Started back in 22nd. He's worked his way now into that 12th position, up 10 spots from where he started here this evening. And Dalton Wicker, slowly but surely trying to work his way inside the top 10. He sees his teammate, the 7 of Corey Denk, has just worked his way into the top 10 out there on the speedway. Matt Sisler, he's up 6 spots. He rolls back there in 11th. He's trying to get to the top 10 here quickly this afternoon, as well as Gage Wenzel, who's now up 7 spots on the racetrack. So Wenzel on the hunt to the front here as well. Started back in 21st. Here he is in about that 13th, 14th spot on the speedway. He's going to look for more, as we do see one driver run into issues, and I believe it's Dalton Wicker. Oh no. Wicker. Man, we talked about him going through the field here, making some moves, and then out of corner number 4. Looks like he was trying to get down pit side, or something was wrong with his 77 ride, but he comes out of 4. Big head of momentum. I don't see him clipping the apron or anything. Maybe he just loses the handle of it, but it looks like he's trying to hit pit road for how shallow he's taking the exit right there, or maybe just misjudges it, and unfortunately gets loose, stays down low, and then ends up going to do some landscaping here at Texas Motor Speedway. Dalton, I don't think they need the yard mode, brother, but nonetheless, he's going to go down there. He's going to mow that grass. He's going to go for a little hop, skip, and a jump. Luckily enough, doesn't look like too much damage dealt to that 77 ride of Dalton Wicker, but it does slide him all the way back into the 26th position out there on the speedway. So falling all the way back now to 26 for a driver that was just outside our top 10. That is not a fun spot to be on the speedway. Is Emma in the chat? How are you, Emma? Emma coming in, showing the love, says, let's go, Gage. Cheering on Mr. Wenzel here this evening. Is Gage currently running in almost inside our top 10 here. He's had to make up a lot of ground himself. He's in that 13th position. He'll be looking for a little bit more, as he's got Jonathan Cofield right there on his back bumper, and the 88 running Trevor Massetti not too far away from him here in that 12th position. Is Matt Sisler starting to put some pressure here onto that number 7 ride of Corey Denk, trying to work his way inside the top 10, as we see Dwayne Furtick right here in the battle, trying to work his way around Brandon Warlick, and it does look like Furtick takes that fifth position away, so it did not take him long. 17 laps, and for Dwayne Furtick now up inside our top 5, and we'll see if he can keep on going here, see if he can find some more speed, some more runs, and maybe try to work his way even closer to our race leader. Is out in front. It is that 24 of Jack Simpson. Simpson continues to lead the way here in Texas. Osborne, though, right there with him. Osborne trying to hunt him down, trying to work his way to the back bumper of that 11 ride, as you see him right there, just trying to follow, kind of not really in the tire tracks, but they're running very similar lines. It looks like the 24 enters a whole lot wider, exits a little bit more shallow than the 11 machine, so we'll have to wait and see who's going to get the advantage. But if they start racing harder, if they start battling here for this top spot, you're going to know that our pole sitter, that 99 ride of Tyler Chronister, he'll be right there ready to pounce, ready to try to work his way back to the point here and back out in front of the field, is Adam Bounton there in 4th, and Dwayne Furtick rounding out our top 5 out there on the speedway, as Brandon Warlick falls back into 6th, Doug Denise there in 7th, Kent Mueller, Michael Carter, and Corey Denk rounding out our top 10 out there on the Speedway. Matt Sisler, Trevor Massetti, Gage Wenzel, Jonathan Cofield, and Cedric Ingram rounding out our top 15 out there on the Speedway. And then we do see Brian King back in 16th, Gavin Grubbs, Corey Yoakum out there on the racetrack in that number 5 ride. He's going to fall back into the 19th position now as Drew King will work his way back around him, and King trying to work his way back up through the field. He had a really good starting spot, man. Had a good start to this race, and then contact out at corner number 2 as we saw that 88 ride of Massetti getting sideways. Unfortunately, he got a piece of that fence and kind of fell back a bit out there on the racetrack, but it doesn't look like too much damage or anything else for the 34, and just trying to work his way back up towards our top 10 on the Speedway. It's the 33 ride of Dylan Huso. Huso there in that 20th position. That's Tommy Pulte right there with him in that 21st position. Then we see Anthony Ludi back here in that beautiful Robin Hood number 95 ride. Unfortunately, back in that 22nd position. He's fallen 7 spots since the start of this race. We just haven't seen too much driving of this 95 ride as of yet. We'll have to wait and see if he's just kind of got it more game planned, a little bit more strategic, trying to figure out, you know, tires are going to be important. Tires are going to be a key aspect here to this feature event. And if he can kind of save a little tire early on, have a little better tire later in the run, may work into his favor. So you do see Michael Sheffield trying to hunt him down in that Worth number 1 machine. Dalton Wicker back up into 24th is Mason Tucker. Jeff Carson, our Daytona winner, the 78 rider Jaden Newson's back there in that 27th position, and Connor Fuge in that Spartan number 14 ride. You see that right front damage there on Fuge's ride, and unfortunately for Connor, he's going to be looking for a caution flag or something to try to work his way back into the action, not only to get those repairs, but to try to get himself back into, you know, the lead lap traffic here. Unfortunately, he's too far back. He is a long distance away from the drivers here in front of him, about 10 seconds back from Jaden Newson, but he is virtually about 23 seconds back from our race leader, and that is about the back straightaway in distance. So he's got to be really, really careful that he does not put himself a lap down out there on the racetrack. But we do see John Osborne in the G-Shock number 11 ride has worked his way out in front, and Osborne will complete lap number 25 here this evening. So Osborne out in front. Jack Simpson back there in that second position trying to hang on to it, but he's got the 99 ride of Tyler Chronister looking down to his inside, and then look out, who is it? It's the 51 of Dwayne Furtick looking to race his way to the point. Started all the way back in 13th, and here he is after 25 laps of racing action, has worked his way up and inside our top 3 on the Speedway, and looking to make it again another 1-2 run out there on the Speedway between him and his teammate John Osborne. Man, this Allegiant Racing team, someone's gonna have to try to figure something out some way or another to try to beat these guys, because they have been untouchable the last 3 races, coming first and second in all of our last 3 races there for John Osborne and for Dwayne Furtick. So they have been on a absolute roll, and here we go again. I mean, you see Osborne out in front. You see Dwayne Furtick now into 3rd here. He's going to be looking to try to work his way around Jack Simpson, maybe even try to race his way to the point here and take that race lead away from his teammate. But again, it seems like another race, and these two are going to be, you know, 2 fierce competitors, 2 drivers that everyone's going to have to battle with and try to figure out a way to not only, you know, compete with, but to try to steal a win from it. And that is a whole lot easier said than done, and these guys are going to have their hands full all night long trying to keep these guys out of the podium here again this evening. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it, but I know they're going to give themselves a golden opportunity to, whether it's through pure speed out there on the racetrack or if it's down pit road, trying to make some different pit strategy, something different to work into their favor, and then try to set these two a little farther back out there on the racetrack. So we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out as they clicked off lap number 29 out there on the Speedway. So 29 laps completed here this evening, and already inching towards that 100 laps left to go here in this 142 lap feature event. So here at the beautiful Texas Motor Speedway, man, they're clicking them off. They're still running really good lap times out there, but we do see that the lap times have kind of backed down a bit out there on the racetrack. So we started out running in the 29, some drivers were 29.2s, 29.3s. Some drivers that were saving a little bit more aggressively haven't ran quite that quick of a lap time, but they've kind of fallen off about half a second towards a second here of tire fall off, and you may be seeing that out of some of those drivers that pushed really hard in those opening laps, like Jack Simpson, like Tyler Chronister, who were at the front of the field that were laying down really good lap times here. They're starting to feel that pain. They're starting to fall back. Simpson's now into fourth. Chronister now sits in fifth. We may see more and more of these drivers that were a little bit easier and a little bit more careful with their tires in the opening 30 laps of this race start to work their way towards the front. Other drivers that were a little bit more aggressive, trying to make moves, trying to make passes, trying to gain that track position, they may start to fall back right here. They may start to really feel that heat and start to, lose a lot of positions out there on the speedway. So we'll have to keep a close eye on Simpson and Chronister, because it looks like they're a couple of the first ones that are really starting to fall back here and starting to really feel that tire wear, that tire effect early on in this race. After 32 laps of racing action, the last little bit, they're still running fairly competitive lap times, but they are about a tenth to 2/10 slower than the three drivers in front of them, as John Osborne out in front. You gotta wonder, did Osborne, did he go a little too soon? Did he jump a little bit early on the gun here to try to work his way out in front and around Jack Simpson and Tyler Chronister? Maybe he could have sat back and waited a little bit while longer, as we do see Dwayne Furtick able to work his way around Adam Boughton. So again, it is the Allegiant Racing team, 1 and 2 out there on the racetrack, man. This is a familiar sight for all the fans in the stands, as they've been just absolutely on a roll here for the last 3 races, and now looking to make it 4 races in a row for their team. Obviously, Dwayne Furtick looking for his 3rd win in 5 races here tonight. For Osborne, he's going to be looking for his 2nd win in 5 races here on the season, as they have won the last 3. Dwayne's won 2, John's won 1. They've both finished 1 and 2 in the last 3 races that we've ran. So for Osborne and Furtick, I mean, they're feeling, pretty dang good out there on the speedway, and we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out for them. Will something catastrophic happen? Will it be tires or fuel, or will it be potentially, some untimely caution flags that may cost them the race here tonight? Or will we see another dominant performance laid down by those 2 drivers? So we do see one driver head down pit road here. Unfortunately, looks like heavy left front damage here on the one rider, Michael Sheffield. Oh no. Let's take a look back here. I don't know where Sheffield may have gotten this damage, but you can see he's down on the apron here. Let's play it back, see if maybe just gets loose out of corner number 2. I think that's what we're going to see right here. So yeah, right there. All right, so unfortunately here for the one ride, already rolling a little deeper in the field here. And for all the worth one Michael Sheffield fans in the stands, that is a sight you do not want to see, as he's just trying to push it here, trying to work his way into this battle between the 34 Drew King and the 77 Dalton Wicker. And unfortunately, down and out of corner number 2 here, he's just going to get loose. Gets loose, washes down the racetrack. Solid contact there into that inside fence. And unfortunately for the one ride, that heavy damage is going to take him down pit road, and he may be down there for a very extended period of time. As unfortunately, we did see Matt Walters kind of have that same issue, that same problem in the opening laps, and unfortunately, he's soaking his car back down behind pit wall and out of this race. So he only ran 3 laps here this evening, man. Heartbreaker there for the Fireballs GC number 10 machine. But out in front, it is John Osborne. Osborne continues to lead the way here. His teammate Dwayne Furtick already up 11 positions out there on the racetrack from where he started here this evening, and now rolling in position number 2, trying to track down his teammate, looking for the race lead here himself at Texas Motor Speedway. As Adam Boughton, Evo, back there in that 3rd spot, having himself another solid run, solid drive out there on the racetrack, man. We'll see if he can finally kind of get one of these finished off and get a good solid run himself, man. He's had some really good races in the first 3, but unfortunately just not quite the finishes that I think that 94 ride has deserved. But right now sits back in that 3rd position, feeling a-okay, trying to be patient here, trying to figure out a game plan, a strategy in some way or another to try to work his way around the Elysian Racing rides right there in front of him, as Jack Simpson back and forth. Doug Denise has now looked, he's made the move, actually. Denise now into that 5th position. Michael Carter up and into 6th. Unfortunately, there with the lap traffic of Jaden Newson, it kind of blocked that outside lane up a little bit, and unfortunately for the 99 of Tyler Chronister, he had to get checked up there, and he ends up getting a little bit of damage as well. And for Tyler Chronister, he's going to continue to slide back here, is now not only losing that 5th position to Doug Denise, 6th to Carter, but now looks like the 7 of Corey Dank's going to look to try to make the move around him for that 7th spot on the Speedway. And then you see a whole gaggle of these guys right there ready to pounce, as here comes Matt Sisler, Kent Mueller, Gage Wenzel's there trying to work his way inside the top 10 as he battles to the inside there of Mueller, and he will jump into that 10th position out there on the Speedway. Jonathan Cofield's there. Gavin Grubbs, who started at the back of the pack, he's up there as well, now into that 13th position. So Grubbs, he's worked his way forward here, did not get a good qualifying run, and I believe having to serve a penalty from last week. Gavin is unfortunately, he had to start at the back of the pack. We saw him get a big launch and a big start to our feature event, and starting at the back of the pack, man, of 30 drivers out there on the Speedway, now working his way up into about that 13th position. I mean, that's a pretty solid run for that B-Main podcast number 25 ride. So we'll have to wait and see if he can continue on, picking off some more of these positions, keep on working his way towards the front of the field here, as you do see Trevor Massetti right there with him, and Brandon Warlick, unfortunately, has fallen all the way back now into that 15th position on the Speedway. So some of those front runners, some of those drivers that, started at the front, ran some really strong, solid laps, and now hang on to it for the 99. There goes Chronister up the racetrack. This is more than likely going to be our first caution flag of the day, and there it is as Chronister comes to a stop on the racing surface after going for a ride down through the infield like Dalton Wicker. Probably should have kept that car rolling right there. That is a dirt track move where you run into an issue and your first thought is to get stopped on the racetrack to bring that caution flag out, and that's kind of what the 99 ride does. Gets a little love tap right there. Is a big run out of the 58 ride of Cofield, and obviously for the 99, he's been struggling going backwards here and goes down through the infield, goes for a slide. Ends up the racetrack into the outside fence, but the car is still pointing the right direction. He just holds on the brakes here and just comes to a complete stop there in the middle of the racing surface. And as he does come to an official stop, iRacing throws that caution flag for these drivers. So our first yellow flag of the day, I think that was right around when these drivers were probably going to start to come down pit road. So that's going to make things, very, very interesting. If this was a little too early for their liking, or if this is, kind of right around where they wanted to see that caution flag. But nonetheless, for the 99 ride, you do see that damage. You do see that Walmart 99 machine with some pretty solid right front contact there. He'll have to honestly head down pit road, try to get that thing repaired. I think everyone's going to be down there getting fuel and probably tires here, but we could see some different strategy calls for these drivers. What could be the call here? Do you take 4? Do you maybe go for a swing and put 2 tires on? What is the game plan here? What do you do, and how do you get it to work into your favor that you could potentially steal some positions, work your way forward, maybe put yourself at the front of the field and leading this feature event? As so far, man, the Sit Down Marks podcast 213 has been a wild one. As you do see, Dwayne Furtick looks like he's going to put on at least right sides, see if that left side gets jacked up as well. There it is. So looks like he's going to get a 4-tire stop here. Looks like Jack Simpson, Adam Boughton, they're getting 4 tires. So is an Osborne. As the 99 finally hits his pit stop. But here we go, race off pit road. Looks like it is going to be John Osborne who wins the race off of pit lane, but Jack Simpson leapfrogs Furtick and Boughton and jumps back into position number 2 here in that Braille Art Ford Mustang. So for Jack Simpson, he'll get ready to restart there in position number 2 on the Speedway, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing in just a few more moments. As a shout out there to Carson Johnstone. Carson, welcome into the Peacemaker family. Carson coming in, smashing that subscribe button, becoming a brand new member of the Peacemaker family here today. Huge shout out there to Carson, and if you haven't already, make sure you guys do exactly what Carson just did, man. Hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family. Here today is a quick commercial break from our Hypershift sponsors here this evening. Here we go, stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here from the Lone Star State as the Sit Down Marks Podcast 213 about to get back underway here from Texas Motor Speedway as a great launch, great restart down through that Geico restart zone for our race leader, the 11 of John Osborne. As Osborne out in front trying to keep these drivers back there at bay is Jack Simpson trying to hold on to that second position, but Dwayne Furtick right there ready to pounce. Got a great launch in behind his teammate's back bumper and was trying to work his way back into second here. Unfortunately, Simpson going to show some muscle here. He's going to keep his foot in the throttle and he will stay in that second position out on the Speedway. But for how long? We saw this out of the 24 ride last run as well. Really strong on the shorter run there. Pushed that car, gained some positions, had worked his way out in front. He had ended up leading a lot of laps in our opening, 30, 40 laps of this race until we finally see John Osborne and Dwayne Furtick. A bunch of these drivers worked their way around him as it seemed like there towards the end of that run, the 24 ride had really been falling off and going in the wrong direction out there on the racetrack. So maybe being a little bit too aggressive early on in this race for the 24 ride, affecting those tires. We'll have to wait and see if that plays out for him here this time, as we did see John Osborne last time around lay down not only his quick time out there on the Speedway, but the quickest lap of this feature event for the 11 machine. So for John Osborne, he's out in front and laying down some really fast lap times, some qualifying times out there on the Speedway, and keeping that 24 of Jack Simpson back there at bay. But are they running too hard? Last time around, they both ran 3/10 quicker than everyone else back behind them. So even though they're out in front, they're running away with it, they're opening up a good lead between themselves, Dwayne Furtick and the rest of the field here. But if they're burning up their tires here a lot sooner than everybody else, that could have them sliding backwards again, like we saw with Jack Simpson in that first run, where it may not work out to their favor in the long term here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see if that is the case, as Osborne still leading the way. Simpson's back there in second. Maybe he's going to be a little bit more safe, a little bit more cautious here with those tires, not wanting to use them and abuse them out there on the speedway. Is Adam Boughton in position number 4. Corey Denks worked his way up and into that 5th spot on the speedway. Gage Wenzel on the outside of Michael Carter. This is a battle for the 6th spot here on the speedway is the top. Stacey Taters in Walleye Fish Sandwiches number 36. Looking to move around the tide rod and into that 6th spot on the speedway. Jonathan Cofield right there as well. Now into 8th with Matt Sisler in the 25 of Gavin Grubbs with the start at the rear of the field. Grubbs worked his way all the way up into that 10th spot on the speedway. Tommy Pulte's now into 11th with Brandon Warlick, Doug Denise, Cendric Ingram, the 15 of Brian King rolling there in that 15th position, has the 88 of Trevor Massetti, the 95 of Anthony Ludi there in 17th, and then we do see this 5 ride of Corey Yoakum. Yoakum unfortunately a little slow down and out of core number 2, and for that 5 machine, he'll see the 8 ride of Kent Mueller drive down to his inside. Looks like Mueller will take that spot and move into 18th, moving Yoakum back into position number 19. Dylan Huso still running our top 20 there in that beautiful Simpson number 33 ride. Jeff Carson, Drew King, Tyler Chronister, we saw run into those issues and bring out our first caution flag of the day, sits back in 23rd as Jaden Newson got the lucky dog back on a lead lap here, and for that 24 machine, or in the 78 ride, he's in the 24th position out there on the speedway. And then, unfortunately, 1 lap down out there on the racetrack is the 77 of Dalton Wicker. Wicker did, unfortunately, go a lap down. So didn't Connor Fuge in the 14 ride, trying to get some repairs down pit road. And we do see Mason Tucker also multiple laps down here now. He's down about 5-6 laps out on the racetrack, man. And Mason Tucker, who was, having a pretty solid run. I'm not sure what happened here to Mason, but he's falling deep in the field here as well. And we do see Sheffield still down pit side. Matt Walter still down in behind pit road. And unfortunately for Daniel Wicker, never joined us for this feature event this afternoon. As out in front is John Osborne. Osborne has that race lead. The G-Shock number 11 ride out in front and has about 0.8 of a second between himself and Jack Simpson. Simpson in the EPI, that Elite Performance Industries number 24 machine, trying to stick right there with them in that 2nd spot on the speedway. But you see Dwayne Furtick, Adam Boughton, and Corey Dank, our top 5 out there on the speedway. But you can kind of see how things have broken up a little bit here, even after a restart, and obviously getting all these drivers kind of stacked back up on top of one another. It seems like our top 4 are kind of running away with it. John Osborne, Simpson, Furtick, and Boughton looking like they're in a little bit of a league of their own here this evening. We'll have to wait and see if Corey D and Wenzel and Cofield, the rest of these guys throughout our top 10, top 20, can try to work their way up there and give them a run for their money here this evening for a podium run this afternoon, as John Osborne continues to lead the charge nice and easy down and out of corner number 4. Back down across the line for Osborne. He completes lap number 60 here this evening. So 60 laps down. Still a lot of racing, still a lot of laps left to go here in the Sit Down Marks Podcast 213 here this evening. Is John Osborne out in front, leading the way, man, feeling absolutely A-okay here at the front of the field, and he's gonna just continue to try to pull farther and farther away here. Simpson just keeps falling a little bit farther back here as the gap is still roughly around that 0.8, but slowly growing towards more of that 0.9 of a second out there, and then they've opened up even bigger lead here between themselves and Dwayne Furtick. Furtick as the 51 rolls back here in that third position. You got to wonder here, is this more just strategy, trying to save some tire, trying to save some fuel maybe as well out there on the speedway, because it could all come into play here. Honestly, seeing even that one caution flag out there on the racetrack was almost a little bit of a surprise to me. Now, we were close on a couple other drivers having issues, but for these drivers, I mean, cautions can't be far and few in between. So if it continues on, just good hard green flag racing and green flag pit stops come on the horizon here again, then fuel could definitely play a huge factor into this feature event. So I think for all of them, that's kind of sitting in the back of their minds. I think they're always trying to plan ahead, trying to think ahead and making sure that they have their numbers and they know exactly where they want to be and what they want to do to try and put themselves into the best position possible to try to win this race. Is out in front though, the guy who's leading the charge and sitting out in front in the G-Shock number 11 machine, John Osborne, just feeling A-okay here at the front of the field, man. Osborne has been strong, obviously. We've said it time and time again already here tonight, but I mean, wants his string of races, last 3 races, second, first, and second, and here he is again, leading the way, leading laps here, looking really, really strong and looking for another solid run here this afternoon in our 5th race of the season. He's looking for his 4th top 2 finish and maybe even his 2nd win on the year, and his teammate only a couple spots back, looking for another good run for himself here. Furtick there in 3rd. I mean, these two hottest ones out there, man. Furtick's last 3 races have been 1st, 2nd, and 1st, so they've just been absolutely on fire. And I think for Jack Simpson, I think for Adam Boughton, Gage Wenzel, and the rest of fuel probably, except for their other teammate, that 15 rider, Brian King, in the Allegiant Racing top tattoo number 15 ride. I think everyone else does not want to see them come home 1 and 2 again this afternoon. I think everyone else is going to be very, very happy seeing John Osborne and Dwayne Furtick not on the podium here this evening, and trying to gain back maybe a little bit of the points that they've lost to them, try to gain back a little extra momentum onto their side, as we do see Mason Tucker running into some more issues back here. It went off the racing surface. Let's take a look back and see what happens as the 16 ride. He's just been struggling here in this 2nd run, and here you go. You see him at a corner number 4, just gets loose. Car washes down into the infield grass there. We've seen that already a couple times this afternoon, and a few drivers going down there to do some landscaping, but for the 16 rider, Mason Tucker, unfortunately, he is, I do believe, 6 or 7 laps down now on the racetrack. I believe 6 laps down now for that number 16 ride, so that is not a very fun spot to be out on the speedway, but out in front for John Osborne, man, he is feeling A-okay, but Simpson trying to reel him back in, trying to claw back his way to that 11 ride. Unfortunately, though, he has fallen back another 1/10 of a second, and he's virtually 1 second off the back bumper of our race leader out there on the speedway. And already, since we went back to green flag racing, another 20 laps has been clicked off the board here, so another 20 lap run so far here, clean and green, and we may potentially see another, 40, 42, 44 lap run here, and right around that area where we're going to see drivers make their way down pit road for what could be their final pit stop of the day. If they can go another 20 laps or so, maybe 30 laps from this point, and that puts them down pit road somewhere around lap 190. Not 190, around lap 90 out there on the speedway. If they can go another 20 laps or so, maybe if they can stretch it a little bit farther, could definitely make them feel A-okay, because if they can run 50 laps, if they can make that final run another 50 lap run, or even trying to make it a little bit short of a run, trying to give yourself that extra little bit of fuel for any NASCAR overtime or anything else that we may go to, then for a lot of these drivers, it could be one more pit stop here till the end of the night. So for each and every one of them, either they're going to be hoping for a caution flag that's not them here in another 20 laps or so, or potentially they're going to be hoping that they hit the strategy perfectly here this evening, whether it's pitting a little bit early, trying to leapfrog with those fresh tires, or pitting a little bit later and trying to play catch up and hunting drivers down late in the race to try to work your way towards the front of the field here, as John Osborne, Jack Simpson, Dwayne Furtick, Adam Boughton, our top four, are going to have some tough decisions here in the next 20 laps or so out there on the Speedway. And for Gage Wenzel, the Wenzel Pretzel, the Tom Stacey Taters, Walleye Fish Sandwiches, Ford Mustangs worked his way finally up inside our top five after starting back in that 21st position. Gage now finds himself in that 5th spot out there on the racetrack, up 16 spots from where he started here earlier this afternoon. And as of right now, he is the hard charger out there on the Speedway. Jonathan Cofield's been kind of just right there with them after getting passed by that 36. He's just been kind of following in Gage Wenzel's tire tracks out there on the racetrack, just trying to, follow him right on through, make the same passes that he makes, and work his way up here into that 6th position. As Matt Sisler's back in 7th. Corey Denks there in 8th. And then we do see Gavin Grubbs in that beautiful B-Main podcast, number 25, right there in 9th. And Doug Denise rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. Michael Carter, Tommy Pulte, Anthony Ludi, Brandon Warlick, and Cedric Ingram round out our top 15 out there on the Speedways. Out in front, though, John Osborne continuing to lead the way, and this time down the back straightaway here at the Lone Star State. John Osborne's going to take us nice and easy down into corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. He will complete lap number 75 here this evening. So 75 laps completed. Still a good chunk of change left to go, and that is just past our halfway marker here today. So little just past halfway through this feature event for each and every one of these drivers. Now that we're kind of through the first half of this race, the second half, probably going to play out a lot like it, unless we start to see, maybe a couple more, late race yellow flags and then cautions breeding cautions out there on the Speedway. You just got to take every run you can and hope for the best and hope that you put yourself into a good position, for the long run cycles here this afternoon, as that first run was virtually, 43 laps, 44 laps. When we saw that first caution flag fly, it was on lap number 45. So 45 laps virtually of clean and green racing action here earlier in this race, and now we're right back into the action here with, almost another 30-lap run of nonstop green flag racing out there on the Speedway. So for each and every one of these drivers, that you gotta have this car figured out. You gotta have the game plan. Now you gotta hope that you have the track position and the strategy queued up, that it can work into your favor, as we see Dwayne Furtick work his way around Jack Simpson. So we kind of saw this for Simpson in the last run as well. Kind of ran about that 30 laps or so out on the racetrack, and then it seemed like for that 24 ride, it just started to use the equipment up. It started to burn up his tires, and we saw him fall back into about that 4th, 5th position on the Speedway prior to that caution flag. So for the 24 ride now, obviously losing more time to John Osborne as he's out in front trying to run away with this one. Is now his Allegiant Racing teammate, the 51 of Dwayne Furtick, will slide right back up into second, making that pass on Jack Simpson. So again, it's the Allegiant Racing team 1 and 2 out there on the Speedway. Boughton looking to work his way back around Jack Simpson. Unfortunately for Simpson, it's kind of deja vu out there on the Speedways. The 24 again showed some great speed, some great pace throughout a 30-lap run, and then all of a sudden just started to fall like a rock here. Now sits back in that 4th position, and he's going to have his teammate Gage Wenzel reeling up to him in a quick hurry with Jonathan Cofield, Matt Sisler, Gavin Grums, and the rest of these drivers all hoping to see this 24 ride continue to fall back into their clutches where they can gain another spot out there on the racetrack and advance themselves a little closer to the front of the field. But for right now, for that 24 ride of Jack Simpson and that Braille Art machine, he's just trying to hang on to it, trying to keep that car pointing in the right direction. But it does look like Gage Wenzel down to the inside will take that Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches number 36 back into, well, for the first time this afternoon, into position number 4, but for not the first time this season, man. He's been up towards the front. He's shown some good speed. A couple races, not really the finishes I think he was hoping for, but for this 36 ride, looking pretty solid again here this evening. Now up 17 spots and looking to just try to keep on clicking them off, work his way up into the height here at the front of the field is Jonathan Cofield trying to continue to follow Gage Wenzel right on through. Will work down to the inside now of Jack Simpson, and for Simpson still just trying to stop that bleeding, trying to keep that car from falling too far back and running into more issues out there on the speedway as he's trying to stay inside our top 5 out there on the racetrack, and I'm just not sure if he's going to have enough, and it doesn't look like he will as Cofield up and into 5th here. Simpson falls back into that 6th position, and now you'll have Matt Sisler, Gavin Grumps, Corey Denkin, Doug Denise try to hunt him down, trying to shuffle him outside of our top 10 on the speedway as John Osborne, though, continue to lead the way here, and I feel we're not too far away from potentially starting to see some green flag pit stops out there on the speedway. We're inching towards, that 35 to, 36 lap run out there on the speedway. And for a lot of these drivers, obviously, they're going to try to make it somewhere around lap 90. I think they're going to go a little bit farther than that, probably trying to go somewhere down pit side around lap 100, making their what could be potential final pit stops of the day. But you just never know if there's another issue, if there's another late race caution flag. It may persuade you to give up that track position, come down pit road, get those fresh tires, and try to race your way up into the victory lane here this evening in the sit-down marks. Podcast 213 here from Texas Motor Speedways. Each and every one of these drivers, they have 4 sets of tires back there behind pit wall. So 4 sets of tires, they should all have at least 2 to 3 more sets down pit side here. So with 2 or 3 more sets of tires down pit road, you can maybe use one right here. You throw a new set on, you're feeling A-okay. You still got an extra set back behind pit wall, potentially at the end of this race or with some late race caution flags, and then it'll come down to virtually how much track position do you give up, how many other drivers take different strategy calls. We've seen those strategies and those late race restarts kind of play in favor of this 11 and of that 51 ride. So you got to wonder potentially if this is going to be another opportunity for that. We've seen them, take 2 tires on a lot of these late race stops, and it's worked out really, really well for them. I'm not sure if that will be the same effect here at Texas Motor Speedway, or if potentially, the same runs that they were able to get, at a couple of those other racetracks. Maybe just you need the 4 tires here. It's going to be interesting. It'll be fun, but I got to sneak a suspicion if we do see one of those late race restarts that these drivers here at the front of the field are going to be quick to come down pit road and quick to throw 2 tires on, knowing that they're going to want as much time as possible to try to travel through some of that traffic and try to hopefully use those 2 tires into their favor here to try to get another big win on this season, as John Osborne out in front, continuing to lead the way. His teammate Dwayne Furtick right there behind him in position number 2, but Furtick, man, he's got his hands full as Adam Boughton, Evo. He's right there as well, man. Adam's looking pretty strong. He's had a really good car all season long, and I know he's going to be looking to try to get another good run, another good finish here this evening. Definitely looking to try to put himself into the win column here on this season, but he's been stalled out a little bit, man, with obviously the run at Osborne and Dwayne Furtick last 3 weeks. Not a lot of room for other drivers to jump up there and find victory lane. We've only had 3 winners here in our first 4 races of the season, as we saw Jaden Newson win in Daytona. We saw Dwayne Furtick win 3 weeks ago and last week, and John Osborne right there winning that third race of the season. So, man, just crazy to think that other than a plate racetrack, that no one else here at an intermediate speedway or 2-mile racetrack has been able to find victory lane. It's been all Furtick and Osborne out there on the speedway, and there is our first feature winner of the season, the 78 rider, Jaden Newson. Newson had got a lap down early in this race. He had gotten the lucky dog with that first caution flag, and it worked his way back on the lead lap with that lucky dog, and unfortunately now he has fallen a lap down again out there on the racetrack. So for number 78, not the run I think he was hoping for here this evening from Texas Motor Speedway, and unfortunately falling all the way back now, you know, deep into the field, another lap down, and potentially going to continue to fall farther and farther back as we do see his teammate Jack Simpson, who was up at the front, leading laps, looking strong here this afternoon. We talked about how he was running really aggressive early in this race, and that, you know, maybe the tires starting to come back to bite him here as he continues just to fall backwards. Looks like he's gotten up into the outside fence a little bit, so maybe just trying to push that car too hard. Ran into an issue, got into the outside fence, and for the 24 ride, he has fallen all the way back into that 16th position. So for Jack Simpson, he has not stopped the bleeding and just continues to leak spots out there on the speedway. And now for the 24 ride, finds himself all the way back in 17th as Cedric Ingram is going to make the move around him and steal that 16th spot away from Mr. Simpson out on the racetrack. We do see our pole sitter back here still as well. I thought maybe we'd see Tyler Chronister work his way through the field a little bit quicker, maybe still a little bit of damage, something still missed here for that 99 ride after bringing out that first caution flag of the day. And for Chronister, he'll be looking and hoping that he can try to, you know, get this thing another yellow flag or two, another opportunity to head down pit road, try to get it completely fixed up, and then hope that, you know, navigate his way back for at least a very solid finish here this evening from Texas Motor Speedway. But for right now, that Walmart ride sits back in that 20th position on the racetrack, and that is not a super fun spot to be, as we did see Connor Fuge work his way down pit road, as Fuge unfortunately has fallen a couple laps down out there on the racetrack. Now down pit side, it looks like he's got some really solid right front contact, so it looks like he's gotten back up into the outside fence, and unfortunately for that Spartan Sim Racing Graphics number 14 ride, it's like he's going to stay down there here for an extended period of time. The crew's gone to work. They're trying to get this thing fixed up back into one piece. And now we do see Tyler Chronister. He's coming down pit road, so making a little bit of an earlier pit stop than everybody else. And that may start to bring some more takers here as we see Drew King right behind him in the 34 ride. Also going to head down pit road, so they may be just playing a little bit more of a dangerous game. As Mr. Holler in the chat. What's good, Kev? Hey, it's Kev in the chat, says, what's up, brother? How are you, Mr. Holler? How you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day, as we see a few more drivers now work their way down pit road. Corey Denk being one of them. Matt Sisler, Gavin Grubbs, Tommy Pulte, Brandon Warlick. Chronister's have done his pit stop. Same with Drew King. Mason Tucker's down pit side. And unfortunately, we see two drivers earn black flags. Too fast down pit side. Pit road entry too quick here for Brandon Warlick. Too fast entering pit road for the number 7 of Corey Denk. And now too fast entering pit road for the number 78 ride of Jaden Newson. So they're all going to get holds down pit road. And we get another one, the 88 of Trevor Massetti. Massetti too fast down pit side as well. Oh no, so 4 drivers here on this, what could be one and only green flag pit stops, running into black flag issues down pit road here, trying to get as much as they can. Now, all these other drivers that are headed down pit side, including our race leaders, John Osborne, Adam Boughton, Dwayne Furtick, Carter's down pit side, Gage Wenzel's down pit road, Brian King, Cedric Ingram, Dylan Huso, Simpson, Carson, all down pit sign here, all making what could be their final stops of this race, as Jonathan Cofield's going to stay out there a little bit longer here. Same with Kent Mueller in that DHL number 8 ride, as now we do see Doug Denise and Anthony Ludi work their way down pit side, as Haller says, good, about to do a Darlington official. Good luck to the guys here. I'll check in after if you're still live. Ooh, brother. Well, good luck. Have some fun yourself there at Darlington, man, and those officials. Ooh, brother. Hopefully some good SR gain, some good IR gain, and, maybe a little extra, gear and a little extra momentum there for the Haller ride. As, Sean O'Keefe, what in the world? Sean coming in, becoming a brand new member of the Peacemaker Members Club. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Sean O'Keefe, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get some hashtag Sean's up in the chat right now. If you guys are tuning in, I want to see some hashtag Sean's in the chat, because Sean O'Keefe coming in with the fire, becoming a brand new member of the Peacemaker Sub Club here this evening. Huge shout out there to my boy becoming a member of the Peacemaker Sub Club here this evening, as we do see our second caution flag of the day. This is going to mix things up a ton. Oh no, as we saw, obviously, at the time of the caution flag, drivers like Anthony Ludi were down pit road. They were making their pit stops. Ludi was down pit side. I believe we saw Jonathan Cofield about to come down pit road. Here he comes down pit side. Will the green light still be on, or is it a red light? Green light's on when he enters pit lane. So maybe a good early pit stop or late pit stop there for Jonathan Cofield, as I believe we're going to see Brian King run into some issues here for this caution flag. So he was just down pit road. He's on some fresh tires, cold tires out there on the racetrack. Maybe just trying to carry too much speed momentum right here on corner exit. Lose that rear end, starts to go around, trying to save it, and unfortunately, car snaps back sideways. He keeps his foot on the binders, and it looks like for, I believe, was that Cedric Ingram who just, yeah, it is Cedric Ingram in that beautiful number 32 ride. Just, I don't know if he didn't see him or didn't think he was going to go around, or maybe he'd get rolling again here. I'm not too sure what was going on, but Ingram was making his stop, and he kind of sees it here. I don't know why. Still end up driving into the side of him here. Even picked up speed, then had to slow down again. I feel like maybe he thought he was going to save it right here, but you can see the car virtually sideways, and then you're going to see him. He shifts right there. Starts to build up that speed, and then he finally realizes, oh, hey, I got a car parked sideways right in front of me, and unfortunately, that was a little too late to stop as he slams in to the driver's side there of that 15 ride, and unfortunately, solid contact, solid front-end damage, not only for the 15 that went around, but for this number 32, as that was a pretty solid hit there for that Chevy, and unfortunately, that does bring out our first caution, or second caution flag of the day, and now this mixes things up here. Who's on the lead lap? Who's a lap down? Where do we see drivers coming down pit side? As I believe Kent Mueller was able to make a pit stop here, and he was our race leader, and I believe after coming down pit side, getting fuel and tires and everything else that he desires, it's going to be Jonathan Cofield, Kent Mueller, 1 and 2 if they're on the Speedway with at least, a lap or two potentially better tires than the rest of this field, especially for some of those drivers that had pitted back on lap number 95 or back on lap number 96, to where, they're going to be, a few laps of green flag racing on those tires as well. A few of those drivers may have been lucky enough that they weren't really on the throttle or going fast enough to burn up any tire here, but we do know that Osborne and Dwayne Furtick had at least a couple laps there of, good solid green flag running. Now, Osborne was the first driver 1 lap down there at the time of the caution flag, so he did get the wave around the lucky dog here, so he will line up virtually right behind our race leaders and some lap traffic here. He'll have to stay behind the lap traffic, but all these other drivers having to take a wave around here. They're going to be playing catch-up to the rear of the field. You see them all picking up speed, driving as fast as they can, trying to race their way to the back of the pace car here in the back of the pack and getting ready for this restart, not wanting to lose a ton of track position. So they'll all start to get checked up. They'll start to get ready to rock and roll as the 58 of Jonathan Cofield is our race leader, man. Cofield out in front. I'm not sure Brian King just went around the pace car right there, but that was an interesting one. Okay, so maybe they were telling him to get around that pace car, so he finally gets around him and gets rolling here, taking his wave around, but he's going to have to be a lot quicker here because he's going to be very, very soon seeing our race leaders get the green flag, but it looks like we will get one more lap of caution here. So they're trying to get things figured out, trying to get everyone lined up to where they need to be, and we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing as... Definitely mix this one up, but we'll get a quick word in here from our sponsors here in the Hypershift Racing League. Once again, huge shout out to my boy Sean O'Keefe becoming a brand new member here on the Peacemaker Sub Club this afternoon, man. Huge shout out there to him. Is here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing for what could be our final restart of the day as they head down through the Echo Park restart zone. The 58 ride of Jonathan Cofield, our race leader, sees that green flag in the air, gets a great launch, great start, and for the 58 ride, he's looking to try to run away from the rest of the field here, hoping that this, timely caution flag works into his favor and potentially works him into the race lead. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there. As Cofield out in front, continue to lead the way. We'll click off lap 106. So the laps are clicking off here in a quick hurry this afternoon as we inch closer and closer to our checkered flag here this evening as we'll jump into a very quick Peacemaker gaming. Crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening. Alrighty, a beautiful crank it up session here this evening from Texas Motor Speedway in the Sit Down Marks podcast 213 here in the Hypershift IMB Racewear NASCAR series. As out in front, it is this number 58 ride of Jonathan Cofield. Cofield continues to lead the charge here this evening as he has the top spot, man. After that caution flag, man, it was a very timely yellow flag. He had just started to head down pit road. They had virtually lapped everyone else, him and Kent Mueller. They were able to use that as basically a free stop down pit side, where they now all of a sudden had the best track position at the front of the field, but they also had the best tires at the front of the field as well, and they've been using it to their advantage. Right now, we see Jonathan Cofield out in front, leading Kent Mueller, even after a little bit of a slide there at a corner number 2 by 2 seconds. So he's got 2 seconds between himself and that 8 right of Mueller, who's trying to reel him in, and then he's got another almost 2-second gap. It's 1.7 seconds back to our third-place driver, Matt Sisler. Sisler's there in third, and then we see Gage Wenzel and Adam Boughton rounding out our top 5. Michael Carter's there in 6th. Gavin Grubbs is up into 7th. Unfortunately here for Dwayne Furtick, he's back in that 8th position and has just not moved too far forward out there on the speedway. And for that number 51 ride, sitting back here in that 8th spot, he sees these laps continue to click down. It's down across the line. It's 18 laps left to go here in this feature event. And for that MasterCard Dell number 51 machine, I don't know if he's going to be able to pull off another win or another top 2 run, so their streak may come to an end here, as obviously they may just be on a completely different pitch strategy right here. It seems like almost the 51 and for the 11 of John Osborne, like they didn't take tires during that pit stop. It seems like they didn't, and everyone else using their tires up here, maybe it'll work into their favor. They're holding on to 8th and 11th right now, but they aren't moving too far forward through the field like we thought they would have to be able to drive their way back up to the front. Or maybe they're just holding out. Maybe they're just holding on here. Still saving, still waiting patiently here, just allowing other drivers in front of them to burn their stuff up. And then maybe in the closing 10 laps, they can just really pick up the pace and make a lot of passes, a lot of good lap times, and potentially still have enough time to work their way to the front of the field. But for Dwayne Furtick rolling there in 8th, for John Osborne back in 11th, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out for them. They may need that caution flag and maybe a set of fresh tires down pit side to help them out, but for right now, it's not going their way because we're clicking these laps off in a quick hurry, and they find themselves, I mean, Furtick is 6.5 seconds back of our race leader, Jonathan Cofield, out there on the speedway. And for Osborne, he's 7.5 seconds back here of this 58 ride. So they may be running into a danger zone where even if they are in that saving mood, if they are trying to save tires or they didn't take tires during that last green flag pit stop, then maybe potentially they may not get another opportunity, another yellow flag to come down pit road and take tires, or even if they do, it may be so late in this race that they will not have enough time or track position to work themselves through the field and towards the front here to get a better finish out there on the racetrack. So I definitely like the strategy. If there was a quick caution flag or a yellow after 5, 10, maybe 15 laps of this run, maybe that really would have worked into their favor here this afternoon. But so far, the way this one's going, it's not working out. But there is the caution flag. Oh no, chat, we may have spoken too effing soon here this evening. Happens every time, chat, happens every time. Our third caution flag of the day is going to be displayed, and we're going to eat our words here this evening because that may have just worked out perfectly here for Dwayne Furtick and John Osborne. If they were saving tires, then they could have potentially the best tires out of our top 10, rolling there in the 8th and 9th position, and now stacked back up, getting all that track position back. Maybe this is their time to strike and try to work themselves back to the point, or maybe if they do have an extra set down pit side, maybe they come down pit road, throw those tires on, and see if they can use them to their advantage. As the driver that ran into an issue, it was the 7 rider, Corey Dankier. Corey Unfortunately, had already fallen back a few more spots out there on the racetrack. Roll in the middle of corner number 1 and 2, and out of 2, just kind of lose that rear end, gets sideways, and goes around. Ludi almost clipping him right there. Close call there for Anthony Ludi. Luckily enough, did avoid him, and then everyone else trying to get by him here as the 7 trying to get turned back around and pointed back in the right direction. Brandon Warlick almost took him back out right there. Unfortunately, though, for Corey, pretty solid damage on that Tiny Toes Ford Mustang, and a late race caution flag to really mix things up here this evening. But we do see pretty much everybody down pit road here. So we do see Kent Mueller, we saw Mike Carter, Drew King, we saw the we saw everyone that's on the lead lap, all down pit road here. No one's taking a gamble to stay out, but we do see Kent Mueller comes out with the race lead. Gage Wenzel will come out in second with Adam Boughton. Michael Carter, Matt Sisler are top 5 here. Dwayne Furtick will be back in 6th with Jonathan Cofield, who was our race leader coming down pit road. Looks like he's going to come out in 7th, so I wonder if Cofield may have been a 4-tire stop right here, and everyone else maybe going with 2 tires. Okay, you are going to watch him right here. So the right sides at this point are jacked up. Let's play it back a little bit more. You see him get into a stall. They're going to jack up the right sides. Now they're going to go to the left side here, and you see him get jacked up there as well. So he does get 4 tires, and right there, as they're going to work on the left side of that number 58 ride, you see Gage Wenzel comes out of the pits in second. Pull right out by him. So let's take a look here at Gage Wenzel's pit stop. I do see right sides on. So they got that right side jacked up right here. They're putting right side tires onto the 36. Looks like that's it. Right sides only, and he's gone. Looks like for Dwayne Furtick, it's another 2-tire pit stop for that Gemini number 51 machine as well. So I think for a lot of the drivers here towards the front, it was a 2-tire call. Unfortunately there for the number 58 rider, Jonathan Cofield, he'll be restarting back in position at number, I believe, 6 or 7 on the racetrack here. And unfortunately, back in 7th. He's going to have to hope that maybe the 4 tires will be a little bit better than 2 tires, especially over what will be a 10-lap run to the checkered flag. Now, I'm not sure if that'll play out into their favor or not, but it'll be interesting to see. And for Kent Mueller now, Mueller, man, this is a big restart here for that DHL number 8 ride, as this could be one of the biggest restarts of his iRacing career here with the Hypershift IMB Racewear NASCAR Series, as he'll get ready to see that green flag fly. Wenzel, Boughton, the rest of the field looking to try to steal this race lead away from Mr. Kent Mueller out there on the racetrack. Well, Mueller, nice and easy, slowing the pace down a little bit through corner 3 and 4. He'll lead us back down into that Echo Park restart zone. And for the DHL Express number 8 run, he's hoping that this is going to be an express run for the final 10 laps of this race. Is down through the restart zone. Good launch, good restart there for him. He's able to get a good enough launch. He clears Gage Wenzel, leads us back down into core number 1. But Wenzel, he's going to be hot. He's going to be looking to find everything he can, as we see one driver slide up the racetrack and into the outside fence. That was Tommy Pulte. Pulte goes first line down through corner 1 and 2. Luckily enough, able to keep it rolling. No heavy damage there, but nice and easy. Down through 3 and out of corner number 4. Back down across the line. The click off. Only 9 more laps left to go here in this race. 133 laps down, 9 left to go. It's Kent Mueller still out in front. Gage Wenzel's right there in second. And then we see Adam Boughton, Michael Carter, Matt Sisler, our top 5 here on the Speedway. The first driver with 4 tires, Jonathan Cofield, back there in that 6th position, trying to find some more spots out there on the racetrack is Doug Denise and John Osborne, our top 8 here on the Speedway. Osborne rolls there in 8th. Unfortunately for Dwayne Furtick, kind of got up into the outside groove here, maybe a little too early. He's falling backwards. He's trying to find a lot of speed, a lot of good runs up here on that extreme high side. Unfortunately, it's opening up the inside for more drivers to slide up in front of him here, as there goes the 25 of Gavin Grums just in front of him. And now for Dwayne Furtick, going to get back down to the inside, looking to try to battle back underneath of that B-Main Podcast number 25 ride, trying to steal back that 9th position on the racetrack. Unfortunately for Furtick, he's going to stay in that 10th spot. But here comes Dylan Huso, Anthony Ludi, Dalton Wicker, and the Tiny Toes number 77. Drew King, Brian King, they're trying to work their way forward, but everyone is chasing down this 213 SimWear. DHL Express number 8 of Kent Mueller, as down and across the line, Mueller will click off lap 136, and it is 6 laps left to go. He's got 0.5 of a second between himself and Gage Wenzel, and man, it could all be tracked back to that mid-race to late-race caution flag as we were through that middle portion of our green flag pit stops. Kent Mueller was the last driver out there on the racetrack yet to hit pit road. When that caution flag was displayed, it worked out perfectly for Kent Mueller, as that put him out in front of the field, gave him fresh tires, and he's just been hitting it nicely here, and he is in line to maybe pick up a huge win here from the Lone Star State Texas Motor Speedway here this evening in the Sit Down Marks Podcast 213, as Mueller down through 3 and out of corner number 4. He will complete lap 138, and it's 4 laps left to go here for Kent Mueller, as Gage Wenzel unfortunately fall a little farther back here. Our second place driver just, 6/10ths back behind Kent Mueller on the racetrack, but it doesn't look like Gage Wenzel really has much for him. We'll see if he can make and mount a late race charge, as Boughton trying to hold on to position number 3 on the Speedway. Matt Sisler, Michael Carter, they're door to door for position number 4 and 5, and here comes the 4 tires of Jonathan Cofield. Cofield right there ready to pounce as he looks to try to slide his way up and into position number 5 on the Speedway, as he works and battles to the inside on Michael Carter. Carter up the racetrack looking for a big run down the back straightaway. Unfortunately, does not look like he's going to get a huge opportunity there, but he does get back to the outside of Cofield. But I think Cofield down through 3 and 4 going to recomplete this pass, slide back in front of that tie number 18 ride with only 2 laps left to go. It'll be a great battle there for that 5th position, but out in front, it's all Kent Mueller. All Mueller really wants to see is this white flag come out. Does not want to see a late race caution flag that could potentially bring these drivers right back to his rear bumper and into the battle for the race. Lee is King Lee cheering on Kent here this evening, as Mr. Mueller down and out of 4 will see the white flag fly here from Texas Motor Speedway. So Kent Mueller only one more lap left here this evening from the Lone Star State, and for the 8 ride, he's out in front and out of 2. The final time down our back straightaway here in Texas. Kent Mueller, nice and easy, down through 3 and out of corner number 4, picking up our 5th win of the season in the Hypershift IMB Racewear NASCAR Series. It's Kent Mueller who gets it done and finds his way up and into victory lane here in Texas. Oh, baby. No bigger win than that one right there, as Gage Wenzel's going to come up and give him a little congratulation bump there. What a run and what a drive for Kent Mueller late in this race. Obviously, that caution flag during that wave of green flag pit stops really worked into his favor, and it works this DHL Express number 8 machine up and in to victory lane here this evening. Wenzel will come home in second. Adam Boughton back in position number 3, but man, what a run for Mr. Mueller. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's see some congratulations up in the comment section right now for Kent Mueller getting it done and picking up the win here this evening as we'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top three up here into the broadcast booth for their post-race interviews as his teammates going to be on the front straightaway here, watching and cheering him on. Man, this is a cool sight to see as you see Anthony Ludi, Michael Carter, Doug Denise, the 94 of Adam Boughton, all there celebrating and pumped up to see this 8 ride of Kent Mueller pick up the win here as Revolution Motorsports back up and into victory lane here, man. Great run, great drive by them. Obviously, 2 drivers inside the top 3. We saw Michael Carter back in 6th. Doug Denise finished back in 7th, so they had 4 inside the top 7, and Anthony Ludi just a couple spots shy of a top 10 run here this evening in that 95 ride, back in that 12th position. But man, what a run, what a drive, and what a performance here for the entire Revolution Motorsports team. But for Kent Mueller, man, this is a big win for the man. This is a huge, huge win for their program, for his season, and he's going to be absolutely pumped when he jumps up here into the broadcast booth, and we're not going to wait any more time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Kent Mueller. Hey, Kent, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy? Hey, Kent, you got a copy? Kent, you got a copy? Oh, let me leave. Maybe it's on my end. Awaiting endpoint. What in the world's going on here? Is Discord messed up, chat? Awaiting endpoint. Voice details. Okay, I don't know why that channel's not working, chat. I don't know what. I don't know. Oh, wait, there it is. Okay, now it's working. All right, Kent, you got a copy, brother?
Yeah, I do.
All right, there we go. I don't know what was going on there. It was not connecting to this voice channel for some unknown reason. But nonetheless, Kent, man, what a run, what a race, mister. Take us back through this one. And first off, man, huge congratulations picking up the win here this evening. That one had to have felt good.
Yeah, definitely felt good. Take it back to qualifying. It was about top 10 run, which about average for me, I would say, on this kind of track. First run, we struggled really, really bad with tire wear. And then actually slid through my box on the first stop and lost a few spots and decided, hey, let's fuel save and try to go as long as possible. Caught that yellow at the right time and just kind of worked out from there and kept the pace up.
Yeah, absolutely. That yellow flag, I mean, that one was a big one for you, for the 58 ride as well, Jonathan Cofield, because that gave you guys not only, the track position at the front of the field, but the best tires out there on the racetrack as well. And, for the longest time there throughout that run, it looked like it was going to be Jonathan Cofield's race to win here this afternoon until that late race caution flag came back out in that brought everyone right back down pit side. He went for 4 tires. You guys have seen over the last 3 weeks that the 51 and the 11 ride of Osborne and Furtick have been winning a couple of these races, making the late race calls to go with 2 tires. So was that kind of the theory there for you guys, for you, Wenzel, Boughton, and so many others that kind of make that 2-tire pit stop, knowing that that was going to be the key to success here this afternoon?
Yeah, I can only speak about our team, which our call was 2 tires and just go as quick as we can and let the cards play out. And to be honest, if the 58 car would have won, I would have been perfectly fine with running second. That was a net gain on the night from the strategy play. So happy with the win, but would have took the second place to Cofield. That yellow didn't come out either. So overall, really happy with the night for not only myself but the team in general.
Yeah, absolutely. For your team, big night, big run here. We see 4 of you inside our top 7 with Ludi back there in 12th, but nothing bigger than yourself being able to jump up here and find victory lane for at least I believe this is your first win here with the Hypershift Racing League, or at least any ones that I have broadcasted. So this is going to feel like a big weight off your shoulder here, finally being able to kind of punch through and get a dub here in that 8 machine.
Yeah, definitely. Big win. First win in a league for stock cars. It's not on a drafting track, so really happy with that. And just it's been a while, and feels good to be back in victory lane. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No better place than victory lane here in iRacing and with the Hypershift Racing League. But man, what a run, what a drive, what a performance for you here tonight, Kent. Who would you like to thank for such a great performance out there on the Speedway? Because man, you were able to just not only get a good restart, but you were able to pull away and keep Wenzel, Belton, and so many other fast cats still back there behind you, man. It was no easy task to run those final 10 laps and keep them back there at bay.
No, just want to give a thanks to you for broadcasting us in the booth. You're a great partner for Hypershift, and thank all my teammates at RMS and admin team. Everybody's done a really good job these first couple of weeks, and we got a long season to go. So hopefully it all continues and keep the momentum up.
Absolutely. Keeping that momentum up, getting some more good finishes, and hopefully, throughout the year, many more conversations up here. Post-racing in the broadcast booth between the two of us as Kent, hopefully, many more trips into victory lane here as maybe this kind of gets the floodgates open, and maybe we'll see this DHL ride up here more and more often.
Yeah, that's the hope. Even if we got podiums, I'd be super thrilled with that. So we'll see what happens. Long way to go.
Absolutely, mister. Well, Ken, enjoy this one, man. Don't party too hard down there on victory lanes. We'll see you back out on the racetrack next Thursday night.
Sounds good. Have a good one, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Kent Mueller, as Mueller picks up the dub and pulls the DHL Express 213 SimWear number 8 ride up and in to victory lane here this evening, as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher. It's the 36th ride of Gage Wenzel. Hey Gage, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Taking a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Gage, man, another good run, another strong race for you. Obviously, in this one, not the best of qualifying efforts out of the 36 machine, and early on we see you having to try to slowly but surely navigate your way through some of that traffic. You work your way up inside the top 10 and then slowly up inside the top 5 here, and then late in this race everything kind of gets a little bit more broken up with obviously that caution flag coming out right there virtually at the end of the green flag pit stop cycle around lap 100, and unfortunately for you and so many other drivers had already made their pit stops, and it puts Kent Mueller and Jonathan Cofield into probably the winning position here. Obviously the late race call with the late race caution flag after that with a 2-tire stop ended up putting Kent Mueller out in front and into the winner's circle here this evening. But you got the opportunity to start to his outside. You tried to hang with him, you tried to battle there with him late in this race, but unfortunately could just never get the door open to try to steal this win from that 8 right here late in this one. But brother, take us back through what's kind of going through your mind here after a really fun night of racing action here at Texas.
Yeah, you get something different every time we come here, man. Like, it's so fun. I don't know why. I'm beginning to love this track. I don't know why. It's different every time. And I was talking to Adam, and like, it just drives so different every race we come here. But yeah, the qualifying was terrible. Thought maybe I'd get 15th or something and be okay mid-pack. But no, I qualified back. I was bad, which put me back, and it's just ridiculously hard to pass here. If I would have been in the lead at all tonight, I don't think I would have lost the race. But it's just so impossible, especially with the guy in clean air. Like, on that last restart, I thought I had a good launch, and I was there with him for a second, and he just got a better roll speed through the zone. If I would have stuck a little bit more on the outside, if I would have got to his outside quarter in 1 and 2 more predominantly, I would have probably won. But the bottom in 3 and 4 is so good. I don't know. I mean, it's good points night. It was a fun race. I had fun battling through the field. I wish I didn't have to. But yeah, happy for Kent. He deserves that one. He raced me clean, and Man, I wish I would have had one more shot at that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there's a lot of other drivers out there in the field that are thinking the exact same thing, especially that 58 Radico field as he came down pit road with that late race lead and decided to go with that four-tire pit stop. And obviously, only 10 laps left to go in this race. I mean, we've seen obviously Dwayne Furtick in the 11, be able to use those two-tire stops, late in these races the last few weeks to put themselves into better positions and into winning positions here throughout these last few races. Was that kind of a testament to what you guys were going to do? I know Kent said their call was automatically two tires. Was that kind of the same thought process for yourself, that two tires was going to be the call? You've seen kind of what those two tires can do in a short run over the last few weeks and seeing how it paid off for those other two drivers in their great start to the season.
I wasn't gonna be too mad with fourth or whatever I was running there for the yellow, but yeah, I was like two immediately. I don't know why guys don't take two. Thought I almost got spun on pit road. Thank God Matt lost. He split his box, so that helped gaining a spot. Man, if Kent didn't take two, man. But yeah, the two tires is always the call. Especially here, it's just so hard to pass. Even with 10 laps, it's just ridiculous. Like you saw it, like once after like the 2 laps where we got a little spread out, I just couldn't pass Kent. You have to wait so long for the tires to come in to be faster with the guy who's the leader. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun night.
Yeah.
I'm really gutted because like I just can't find victory lane yet. I'm getting a little annoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sure one of these nights you'll finally find your way back up here into the winner's circle. But tonight you got to settle in for a good, solid second place run. Gage, who would you like to thank for a great run, great performance here this afternoon from Texas Motor Speedway in the Sit Down Marks Podcast 213?
First and foremost, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Blessed here every day. My amazing family that supports me through thick and thin and everything. My girlfriend over here who's staring at me as I'm giving the interview. Tom Stacy Taters and Walleye fish sandwiches. This car looked beautiful again tonight. 213 SimWear EPI. Tiny Toes 2410 team. I know we didn't have a great night as an organization really, aside from me. Jack had speed. He just needs to clean up some stuff. He needs to stop making mistakes. That's the issue with that car. Other two cars damaged early and kind of just took them out. But yeah, I'm thankful for everything, and we're gonna go to Darlington and have a throwback scheme and probably not run well, but we'll see. I just gotta save tires for once at that terrible racetrack. Yep, see you, my man.
Yes, I do. Yeah, we had a decent car for most of the race, but like you alluded to, just stuck in third the whole race. Started third, ran third, and finished third. So I guess it was a third place night tonight. But overall, car handled good. Wasn't the greatest on short runs there. I personally needed about 10 laps for the car to even remotely start to do anything. But overall, had a solid car tonight, and I was able to finally finally finished one without total in the car, so that's always a plus. But overall, solid performance tonight. Well, when the caution came out, it's like, well, two tire showdown here. So it's like I think I was like fifth in the caution came out. So it's like, all right, well, let's see how terrible this car is gonna jump off on with two tires with everybody around. And surprisingly, there we actually gained some spots and was able to restart third. And I think that ultimately that helped because really was on that restart was surrounded by my teammates with the 8 leading there, and the 18 was I think restarted right behind me there, so had a little bit of leeway to at least let the car come in a little bit, and I think that ultimately helped. But if we were in mid pack around in the Hornet's Nest, I think probably wouldn't have had the result we had tonight just because of the lack of short run speed. But ultimately had a little luck there on that final restart there. Well, shout out to Sit Down Marks for sponsoring tonight's race. First and foremost, they put on a pretty good podcast week in and week out. Shout out to you for putting on an awesome broadcast every week. And shout out to my sponsor, Boughton Enterprises, being on the car this season. And shout out to my teammate Kent for getting his first career HRL win tonight. Well, that's what we're hoping. Yeah, the ice is cracked for the team getting its first win, so hopefully the floodgates open now. That's gonna be a tough one back at the Lady in Black next week, but we're looking forward to it. You have a good one.